Okay, I'm going to show you how to create, copy, and edit a file in Natus. Okay, so you have to be recording, or at least we'll have started a new file. So I'm just going to start a file here. All right, and okay, so to create a new file, you go up into Edit, hit Settings, and what you do here is you go here and you want to do a new montage, okay? So you click New, and then it's just going to ask you what head box you're using. So you just hit OK. You just confirm it by hitting OK. So it's going to come up with this visual editor, okay? So let's say we're going to do, let's just say we're going to do a, leftover right hemisphere montage, okay? So we'll just do left temporal, left parasagittal, the midline, then we'll do right parasagittal and the right temporal, okay? So what you do is you click and hold, you left click and hold, and you stretch it over to the next electrode in the chain. So you can see it has after you do that, it just pops up here with that derivation, and then you just go right down the chain, and then here you have all the derivations in the left temporal chain. Now let's say you want to put a space in between this chain and the next chain, the left parasagittal. Then you just right here, there's a little spacing. You click on that, and it's going to put a space in there. And now you go to and you start your left parasagittal chain, and you just drag it down like this. Okay. Now let's say okay, well, let's put a space in there. Okay, now we're going to go to the midline. We're just going to go FC to FCZ. And let's say we made a mistake. I went from CZ to P4. You can take that out easily by just clicking this little one here. It's just a red X, and there it eliminates it. Now you can finish up your that chain right there, that chain right on the midline or the vertex. Okay, and then we're going to put a space in between there, and then we're going to do the right parasagittal. Okay, and then we'll put another space in there, and then we'll do the right temporal. Okay, and then we'll put another space, and then we'll do our eye leads. Okay, so here we have the left lower canthus and the right upper canthus, and so you can we can refer those to A1 to the ears. So the left lower canthus will refer to A1. So you just take it and stretch it all the way over there, and then we'll refer the right upper canthus to A2. Okay, you put another space in there, and then we're gonna do the EKG last. So we'll just do EKG right to EKG left, and then it pops up right there. And then you hit OK. And so here's your montage right here. So the next thing it wants you to do is it wants you to make a title right here. So I'm just going to put my bipolar montage. You can name this anything you want. I'll put my name on there. And then you hit enter. Oh, I'm sorry, not enter. You hit apply. Okay, so now after you hit apply, your montage is going to pop up right there. Okay. Well, the montage now is your montage is on the screen. Okay. So, but the name changed right here. I just wanted to show you that. But let's say now. So here is where you check to make sure all your settings are correct. So the 1 Hertz, the low frequency filter of 1 Hertz should be the same on all the channels, and it is, and same with the high frequency filter. Your notch should be off, right? You always want to start your recording with the notch off. And then your sensitivity 7 microvolts per millimeter. And then lastly, here on the I channels, you want to specify what type of channel it is. So you just right click on it, and then you make it an EOG, means electrooculogram, and you right click on that. Okay, so these are EOG, and then the EKG should be ECG, or electrocardiogram. Okay, so you want to change those to the type. You want to change the type in those channels, and the rest you want to leave for EEG. Okay. One other thing you might want to do too is you might want to color your eye leads and your EKG differently. And so what you do is you hit Shift and you highlight both of them, and then you right click, and then let's say we want to make them blue. So you click the little blue. Okay, so now they're blue, and then we're going to right click this EKG, and we're going to make that red. Okay, now it's red. Okay, so now before then you can hit apply again. Okay, now you can see it applied it on the montage, and you can see now everything, your eye leads are blue and your EKG is red. Also, you just want to make sure your EKG, the sensitivity is a little higher, because it's so much larger signal than the brain waves. So, and it's on 50 microvolts per millimeter, which is pretty good. And then lastly, what you want to do is you want to save it. Okay, so if you want to use it all the time on any on EEGs in the future, then you save it to common. That means it'll put it in the common montage menu. If you just want to save it to the patient, then you click on patient. Okay, but we're going to save this one to the common, and this is going to pop up here, and this is the montage list right here. And then you hit save, and then you hit OK, and there you go. So there's your montage right there, your created montage. Okay. All right, so let's say let's say you start another patient. I'm going to start the record here, by the way. Let's say you start another patient, but while you're hooking this patient up, the patient has, like, say, a big craniotomy on the right side over C4, and they put a big bandage over the scalp, so you can't really put C4 on. So what you can do, you can duplicate the montage, and then you can edit it. Okay, so let's say C4 is off, and C4 right here is just giving you all sorts of weird, extraneous data. So what you do is you go back up to edit, and you go into settings. All right, and now what you want to do, you don't want to edit your montage that you use all the time, right, on every patient. So what you want to do is you want to come over here, and you want to duplicate it. Okay, now it's going to be untitled. Okay, so now you can rename what you're gonna you're gonna rename this montage specifically for this patient. Okay, so let's put bipolar montage. Of course, you can name this anything you want. C4 out. Okay, out of the montage. Okay. So, and then you hit apply. Okay, now your new montage is right here. Okay. Bipolar C4 out. So now it's up there. So now we got to take out C4, because C4 is not working, because it's not even on. So what you do is you come over here, you click on the channel with C4, and then you hit delete. So it takes out that channel, that F4 to C4 derivation. And then here's C4 here, the C4 to P4 derivation. Let's say you want to just connect that to F4. So you right click, and then it's on F4 now. So now it just goes from FP2 to F4, F4 to P4. So C4 is out of the whole montage altogether. Okay. And then P4 to O2. And so now you apply, okay? And then now you can see your edited montage comes up without the C4. But here you have to remember before you continue to record, you want to save it to the patient, okay? Because if you don't save it to the patient, if you save it to the common, it's going to overwrite your old montage, or the montage you use all the time, okay? So now you're going to save this one specifically to the patient. So you hit save to the patient, and then you hit OK, and it says, do you want to save your changes now? And you hit yes. Okay, so now you're recording your patient with that craniotomy, and your C4 is off, but the C4 is not in there anymore. You took it out, okay? So now if you look up here, notice that if you click the montage, notice how it says bipolar montage C4 out. It's under patient, okay? So every time you know, when they review this file later on, this montage is gonna show up on that recording, but it's not gonna show up on any other recordings you do, okay? And then here's your montage. Here's the montage that we created earlier from scratch, right here. Okay, so that one's preserved in the common montage menus, okay? But this one here is very specific to the patient, okay? So that's how you, you know, you copy and edit a montage. You know, if, let's say you want to, let's say the only montage you have is the Mesa bipolar leftover right hemisphere, but let's say you want to record the left temporal and the right temporal over, you know, up on the top two chains, and you want to do the, you know, the left parasagittal over the right parasagittal, you know, on the bottom two chains. So that's another reason why you might want to copy a montage, just to modify it to your liking. So let's go to this montage. This is the leftover right hemisphere. But let's say, hey, you know, I want to create myself another montage where I put the temporals up here and the parasagittals down here. So what you do is you go up into settings, edit, and then we're going to go ahead and duplicate this montage here, okay? So now it's going to be untitled. So we're just going to put this my montage, or my bipolar montage 2. So you can rename this anything you want. Okay, and then you hit apply. Okay, now it's going to come here. And now we're going to edit it again. So we're going to move the right temporal up under the left temporal, and then we're going to move the right parasagittal chain down above we're going to move the left parasagittal chain down over the right parasagittal chain. So what you do is you hit shift, and then you highlight all these channels in that chain, and then you go over here and then you click move up, okay? So now it's the left temporal chain over the right temporal chain. Okay, now we want to put this left parasagittal down over the right parasagittal. So you're going to hit shift and then highlight all these channels, and then you hit move down. Okay, and now this left parasagittal chain is butted right up against the right parasagittal chain. So we want to put a space in there, just like all the others. See these spaces in between the chains. So what you do is you highlight the first channel in that chain, and then you hit insert over here, and that's going to put a space in there for you. Okay, so now you have a leftover right hemisphere montage, and now you have a left temporal and right temporal over the left parasagittal and right parasagittal. Okay, and now lastly, you have to save this. Let's say you want to use this all the time. So you save it, you save it to the common, and then you hit save. Okay, now it's saved. So if you want to use it on future patients, you'll have it in your common montage list. Then you hit apply, and here you go. You have your left over your right temporal and your left over your right parasagittal. You hit OK, and then you're off. Okay. So that's pretty much really. I mean, there's when you're in surgery, there's a lot of this type of stuff to do. You have to use the editor, and it takes quite a bit longer to program for multiple channels. Like in surgery, like for a grid, you may have 64 electrodes. So, but it's pretty much the same thing, just a little more complicated, but pretty much the same thing. But this is how you create a new montage, edit, and copy montages.